Tyler from Aspire Sports. I'm here with Gigs, and we're going to talk about the big Taysom Hill news here. I know a lot of people might be upset, or maybe you're pretty happy about the news, but we're going to kind of talk about it, give our take on it, and everything. So, first thing we're going to talk about is his eligibility as a tight end slash quarterback. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to kick it over to Gigs to give his take. But if you are upset about it, honestly, I understand why you might be upset, but at the same time, this was a player that was 0% owned in leagues, and now it's going to be much higher, but you had the opportunity. This wasn't like Patrick Mahomes got switched to tight end and that you obviously didn't have a chance unless you drafted him. No, this was a player that definitely wasn't drafted, was 100% available, and unfortunately, the person that got him in your league was either on his phone at the time that the notification came up, or in the beginning of the week, they just had this feeling or listened to Aspire Sports who said to pick him up, and they picked him up. So I honestly think that I don't think that the your commissioner has to feel bad about having him as a tight end. If he's a tight end, you roll with it, and we'll kind of give you some outlook here that it might not be too bad. But I'll go ahead and kick it over to Giggs, let him kind of give his take on it all.
Yeah, I think the Taysom Hill QB slash tight end issue. If you're a commissioner and you're catching flack, you just have to tell them it is what it is. This is how ESPN has it, so that's how we're going to roll. You don't make an exemption at this point of the season. This is probably a very crucial week in a lot of leagues, so you can't just rule that out and say, hey, no, he can't be played at tight end if he's starting quarterback. It's not fair. And it's very similar to like the Jalen Samuels situation. I don't remember if it was 2018 or 2019, but he was able to be played at running back slash tight end. I know it was available on Yahoo. It may have been on ESPN as well. And you can't fight that. I mean, it is what it is. It's been that way since week one. You're not going to just change something because it now benefits somebody. That's just rude. Plus, it may not benefit them. We don't know. Like let's talk about that. I mean, you don't play him at quarterback, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I honestly I know a lot of people are I've seen some questions out there like Joey Burrow or Taysom Hill. Like honestly, you'd go Joey Burrow. Like I know that a lot of people fall into this trap where a player is like sexy, right? It's a new name and everybody obsesses over it. So I mean, let's go ahead and you go ahead and talk about how his production was in college. I know he wasn't the most productive passer in college, so go ahead and just talk about that real quick.
Yeah. So in college, he only had 2 seasons where he had over 300 attempts. Actually, he only had 2 seasons where he had over 130 attempts. So we'll start there. So there's 2 seasons, 12 games played or more in both. His completion percentage was under 59% in both. He had 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions in his sophomore campaign. That's when he played 13 games. And he had 12 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in his second year senior campaign. He's not that great of a passer. So it's not like he's going to be able to dissect and just pick apart this Atlanta defense. If they're going to use him, it'd have to be in an RPO or PRO kind of package because he killed people on his feet. He didn't kill people as a passer. He's never in his career averaged more than 8 yards an attempt passing. And with that bad of a completion percentage, you have weapons on the outside. You have you have Sanders, you have Michael Thomas, and I don't know if Kamara is going to play, but if he does, he's
He
most
practiced
effective
fully
being
today.
passed. Perfect, because I own him. We love that. Um, I don't see them relying on Taysom Hill to get him the win if he starts. He's not that great of a passer, so I don't expect him putting up QB1 numbers, maybe not even QB2 in 2 QB leagues. Like you have to be really hurting at QB to consider playing him at quarterback position this week. He's just not that great of a passer, and it'll all come down to Peyton's play calling, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about this earlier a little bit. Like I honestly expect him, and this is kind of like the expectations. Also, well, I'll say this real quick. If you need help at the tight end position, I'd say he's a pretty solid start because you're going to have basically three tight ends. Like that's how it's been all season. Well, not really three tight ends, really like two that you feel really good about, but now three tight ends and Mark Andrews I really like this week. But other than that, if you want to go ahead and throw him in there, I think he's a pretty solid play at the tight end position. Also, if you're hurting for a flex spot, it's not that bad. But I've seen some questions like, should I start James Robinson or Taysom Hill? Like, no, start James Robinson. Don't get cute with it. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, super flex. But I'm going to kind of talk about my expectations real quick, and then I'll kick it back over to Gigs. Like, I honestly expect, this is what I expect, and this could be totally wrong, but I expect him to seriously come out for the first snap, play the first snap, and then Jameis Winston to come in. And I'll give you my reasoning behind it is because last year, Teddy Bridgewater, Taysom Hill was still in this offense, but Teddy Bridgewater took over the offense when Drew Brees went down. They didn't switch back to Taysom Hill. And I know that you could say, well, there's some outlook for him next year and his contract is structured that way, but he's also going to be 31 next year. Like, I know that's not, quarterbacks are playing longer than usual, but also 31 for a brand new starting quarterback. You think he's the future of this team? Me personally, I don't think so. I think they got to just patch it together for a couple years. And if you can get Jameis pretty cheap, who honestly, I know a lot of people also shit on Jameis, but he's not that bad of a quarterback. He still had 33 touchdowns and over 500 or 5,000 yards passing last year. I know he threw interceptions, but he was playing from behind constantly. Like, so I just expect him to come out one play, and then it's going to be Jameis show after that. And if it doesn't happen, even if Taysom Hill plays all the snaps, I don't expect it to be a very high volume game. You're basically relying on the run, and hopefully he can get in the end zone. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. So that's just my expectations. Definitely tight end play, but other than that, I don't really feel that comfortable playing him anywhere else. And I'll go ahead and let you take it over here, Gigs.
Yeah, just to reiterate, because you just said it, you don't play him at quarterback. You could play him at tight end. That's not a bad move, especially if you've been hurting at the tight end position this year. Look at the pass. Bridgewater came in last year. Winston came in last game. Maybe he comes out for one play and then he gets pulled just so he has an official start and Winston doesn't. Maybe it's part of Winston's contract that if he starts X amount of games this year, he gets
Could
a
be.
bonus. So they want to save money. Like, who
That's good.
knows?
That's good thinking. Honestly, it could be
Yeah.
something like that.
Who knows what's going on? But if you're playing FanDuel, if you're doing GPP tournaments, Hill is at 4,500 at the tight end position. Throw him in one of them. If you're making more than one lineup, you have to have some type of exposure to him. But hey, look, we are the only ones making ourselves vulnerable enough so you can come back and say, you said Taysom Hill is going to play one play and not play again. All these other guys are telling you that Hill is the starter and this is how it is. It's not gospel, folks. We do not know what's going to happen yet. And we're here to tell you, be aware, be prepared. It may not be the Taysom Hill show, but if you want to play him at tight end ESPN, do it. If you're catching flack from your commissioner, tell him Aspire Sports said so. Do not play him as your starting quarterback. Maybe in 2 QB leagues, but even don't.
That's fine. But like a standard 10-team league, I think there's definitely better options. Honestly, like we talked about earlier as well, like Alex Smith, I'd feel more comfortable playing Alex Smith than him this week. Alex Smith has a really good matchup too. So, but I think that's good. Anything else you want to say?
I'd even play Flacco over him. That's all.
Oh, there we go. Joe Flacco over
Check,
Taysom
please.
Hill. Check, please. So with that being said, we will be live. Maybe more news breaks, and I do want to say one thing because somebody said this earlier. Adam Scheffler tweeted that he's not going to be playing in any quarter or any offensive packages. And I think that's interesting how it was worded. I guarantee if you went back, which would probably take forever, and looked at all of Adam Scheffler's tweets when a new quarterback was taking over, I guarantee 99.9% of them are going to say he's the quarterback, the starting quarterback this week. That's probably all it says. But the fact that it's offensive packages to me just is a little weird. Like the way it's worded and everything is just a little strange in my opinion. Hey, maybe this is like a conspiracy theory or something like that. But honestly, I think it's a little strange. I think it's just mind tricks by Sean Payton, but we'll see what happens. But if any other information releases during the week, leading into the weekend, we'll be live on Sunday from 10:30 to 1 o'clock, answering Eastern Standard Time, answering any questions you have. Make sure you tune in there. Check out our previous videos, start and sets, a bunch of stuff like that to help you win this week. And good luck. We'll hear follow us on Twitter, @AspireSports_. We'll answer any questions you have. So thank you for watching and have a great day.